This is Today in St. Louis, focused on you.
Well, we're going to focus on a live look at Busch Stadium right now. The Cardinals have a second chance to knock down those Pirates tonight. First pitch is set for 7:15. Thank you very much, Bobby, for that. Today's weather is going to be great for the game, but tomorrow, not so much. But it is a Friday, so that right there is good enough. Good morning, everybody. I'm Randy Knott.
And I'm Michelle Lee. So great to see you on this Friday. We want to say thanks for joining us, including those of you who might be watching us on 5+. We have Paul Cook talking about a lot of construction, a lot of things going on to keep your eyes on when you're on the road. And then also this guy, Gary Frank.
Gary Frank.
Gary Frank, everybody.
I don't deserve that, but thank you. I mean, it's been a quiet week. You got a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but not so much Saturday.
Yeah, it'd be a little busier. Be a little busier. And then Sunday is going to feel like a Sunday where you're inside. We want to look at a few things. Right now, first and foremost, this Friday is an excellent Friday. I do think what you're going to see over the next several hours is quiet conditions here at Kirkwood Farmers Market, and it's calm. And that's the main thing here as we look ahead. What you'll notice is over the next several hours, our temperatures are in the 50s and 60s, depending on where you are, but it's not all that bad. We've got a couple of 40s even to start off because it's not that humid. The big picture, that colder air in Nebraska is headed our way, but it's when does it get here? That's why we have a slight risk for severe weather. That's category 2 of 5. Wind gusts, large hail, maybe a brief tornado, but that's what Saturday is going to impact. Let's talk about today, though. This evening, low 80s, nice for that baseball game, the specific forecast for that, and of course, what we look at expected this weekend. But we're in pretty good shape here coming up.
All right, Gary, thank you very much. We do have some things going on, as Michelle mentioned, this weekend. And in fact, right now, you're dealing with a little bit of bridge construction. You can see the flashing lights, 70 westbound headed into St. Charles across the Blanchette. Cars moving very well alongside there at 602, but that is going to change as we pick up more volume. Still just an emergency vehicle on the right, 55 northbound at 255. And then the construction happening this weekend, 270 south and north, ramps to 40. That starts at 9 p.m. tonight and goes all weekend. Michelle.
All right, thanks so much, Paul. We are following some breaking news out of North County right now. St. Louis County is confirming that officers are out with a gunshot victim at Benham and Dunn Road. This is just north of Christian Northeast Hospital. If you are out on the road and you see the flashing lights there at 602, this is a live look again. We know that calls came in around 4:30 this morning. They cannot give out any other details at this time, but you can see police investigating at this moment right now.
New this morning, a man is found dead in a neighborhood in North St. Louis, and now police are looking into what took place. Officers responded to the scene on Moffett Avenue near Kings Highway, excuse me, around 9:15 last night. They were still on the scene well after midnight this morning. Right now, we do not know how this man died. This is at least a 39th homicide in St. Louis City in 2023.
We have new details this morning. Metrolink trains are back up and running after being shut down last night in East St. Louis.
Now, the reason for the shutdown, a fight that ended with a gunshot. Our Mercedes McKay joins us now live from Belleville with the details on this incident. Good morning, Mercedes.
Good morning, Rennie and Michelle. We're live right now outside of the St. Clair County Sheriff's Department in Belleville. They're the agency investigating this incident. And right now, police are still looking for the suspect. So here's what we know so far. Police say that around 9:30 last night, a Metrolink train was coming back to Illinois from the Cardinals game when two people began arguing on the train. At one point, one of them pulled out a gun and started beating the other passenger with the firearm. Police say while the two were fighting, the gun went off. The train pulled into the 5th and Missouri station in East St. Louis, and the suspect with the gun ran off the train. The person who had been beaten fell to the ground while exiting the train. Police say that passenger was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Metrolink was updating riders on Twitter last night. When the incident occurred, trains stopped operating between Busch Stadium and Emerson Park in East St. Louis. Shuttles transported riders by bus between those stations. About an hour and a half after the initial shutdown, Metrolink resumed full operations. This is still an ongoing investigation, and I want to reiterate that police are still looking for the suspect. St. Clair County Sheriff's Department tells us they should have more information out to us this morning. We will obviously update that on air and online at ksdk.com when we get that. Coming up in the next half hour, I'll share with you the safety measures Metrolink always has in place for its riders. Live in Belleville, Mercedes McKay, 5 on your side.
Thank you, Mercedes. This morning, an 11-year-old boy is paralyzed after being shot inside of his home in North St. Louis. It happened shortly after midnight on Thursday on North 39th Street. Illinois State Police tell us 2 women came to the house and argued with the boy's mother over clothing, and then one of them started shooting. A bullet went through the wall and hit the boy. One neighbor says the violence needs to stop.
Put the guns down, talk it over. You know, it don't make no sense for all this violence in the community. And this is a quiet street. Most of these people live here. They live here for 40, 50 years. They shouldn't have to put up with that.
The 2 women have been arrested, but as of this morning, they have not been charged.
This morning, a woman continues to fight for her life after being struck by a car during a robbery. It happened at the Quick Trip in South County at Union and Rivas Barracks Road Wednesday night. Investigators say she was filling up her gas tank when someone hit her with another vehicle, then took her purse and ran away. Police say this is not the first time they've been called to that gas station. An employee of another gas station nearby claims to know why.
A lot of customers telling us how people who was parking behind here, there's no cameras back there, their cars was getting broken into.
Now, police have not released any information about the suspect or the car.
Today, there's a training session for a new anti-crime initiative in the city of St. Louis. The trainees will learn a new system called Data-Informed Community Enforcement. It involves everyday people working with community leaders to identify where crimes are happening. Trained neighbors can then plug into the data into software on their phones.
Another way for us to invest in community and say, we trust you. You are just as much an expert as what goes on your block as any of the scientists are that study crime trends.
Collaborative hopes to bring this new data to local, state, and even federal leaders to learn when and where they need the most to tackle the crime. This initiative is all being funded by the Center for Policing Equity and the City of St. Louis.
6:08, your weather first forecast on this Friday. It's quiet and the sun is rising nicely. There are a few clouds. That's the main difference, and it's all from that big storm system which has sat in the southeast. We're on the kind of the fringe of that, and it's why it's been so nice and dry locally as we've started off this morning in the 40s, 50s, 48 in Pacific, 56 in Baldwin. Zooming out, it's all part of this major area, but look at this colder weather behind it. That's what's headed our way, and that's going to produce significant changes for us Saturday afternoon. It's already mild, though. The rest of the afternoon, sunny, clouds will increase, but still warm and dry, highlighting that severe weather threat and how it impacts our weekend in just a few minutes.
An arrest in the high-profile murder case of a famous St. Louis tech entrepreneur. When experts expect the suspect will be arraigned in the death of Bob Lee, the founder of Cash App.
There's a new bill restricting health care for transgender youth in Missouri. The main points of the measure and how it's different from the one the state Senate already approved.
Oh yeah. SZA will return to her hometown this fall when you can snag some tickets.